And I'm your congressman up here in Prescott. I want to start by saying thanks to Grant for hosting this event. As David Rhodes, Sheriff Rhodes, talked about, Grant is always so good about using this facility to host Republican candidates. And, if you pay attention, that's not something that a lot of business owners will do. And you guys know why they won't do it, because they're scared to death that they're going to lose business. So I want to say thanks to Grant for always hosting candidates. I made this place my home, when I started running about 5 years ago, just because me and Grant both share history and special operations, and because I could come in here and tell him I was cooler than him because I'm a Navy SEAL and he's a Ranger. But it is an honor to be here. I also want to say thank you to all the candidates that are willing to put their name on the ballot. This isn't an easy job. You take a lot of hate, you take a lot of slings and arrows, but I think that it's more prevalent today than ever on our 250th birthday that evil triumphs when good men do nothing. Evil definitely triumphs when good men and women do nothing. And so it's an honor to be in this place with people that are willing to put their name on the ballot, and people who are willing to come out and support those of us that are willing to step up and lead. I think I was really impressed with Sheriff Rhodes and his speech. And I've never said that before. Not that I don't love this guy, but I want to tell you something. You won't hear what he said from a lot of elected officials, especially sheriffs. He said, I didn't want to say it in uniform, so I got into some civilian clothes so I could come in here and just tell you what's really going on. He is absolutely right. We have a lot of people in Washington, D.C., and a lot of them are patriotic folks. They tend to be a little bit more old school, and God bless them for that. With that comes a lot of wisdom, but something that I feel that they're missing, they focus a lot on geopolitical threats. They focus on Iran, Russia, North Korea, China, and not that those adversaries are not a threat to the United States, because they most certainly are. But what Sheriff Rhodes was hitting on is something that I've been preaching in Washington since I got there, and that is this. We are the most vulnerable in this country, not to those geopolitical threats, but to ideologies that undermine the Constitution, our freedom, our independence, our sovereignty, and our way of life. He mentioned two of them. He talked about, I believe you mentioned two of them, communism and socialism. We're seeing that in spades across the country right now. Many of you guys watched the elections in New York. And you might think that after the last elections, our opponents, the Democrats, might have had a come to Jesus moment and realize that they're getting too radical. But that's not what they did at all. They doubled down, and you're seeing it all across the country. But I want to add one to what Sheriff Rhodes was talking about, and this is the one that concerns me out of all of them, and that's Islamism. Okay? You're seeing right now in Michigan, Minnesota, Texas right now, and it's even uncomfortable sometimes to talk about this because we're so proud of our culture, our tradition, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. But what I want to tell you with Islamism is that it's not just a religion. They marry politics with it, and what they really want is a global caliphate. They want global dominance, and they want all of you to have to either submit, die, or pay a tax. Okay, and it's hard for Westerners to even understand this because we've been sheltered by oceans for so long. But it is absolutely true. They're trying to build cities in Texas that are Islamic only, where you wouldn't be welcome there. And if you guys don't believe me, many of you guys have heard this over the years, that we're always about a decade behind the UK, right? Have you guys heard that in a lot of things? If you look at what's going on in the UK right now, they have been absolutely dominated. Many people will tell you that place is completely gone. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that happen here. And honestly, I don't care who you pray to. I love the fact that we have a country where you can say what you want to say, you can pray to who you want to pray to. But if you want to come in here and undermine our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, right, and people's independence with a new form of law called Sharia law, and that's what they're trying to do. That's where we have to stand up and fight. And I'm proud to be a part of the Sharia Free America Caucus in Washington, D.C. I know Congressman Biggs is a part of that. And, you know, it's interesting. I feel bad even talking about this stuff because we're here on 4th of July and this is supposed to be about fireworks and rodeos and parades, which are all amazing. But as somebody who went and fought for this country, dropped out of school the week after 9/11, and went and volunteered to go to Special Forces, the thing I think about the most is what Benjamin Franklin said a long, long time ago. He said, "I'm giving you a republic if you can keep it." He understood, many of our founders understood what a blessing, you know, the framework of what they were giving us would bring to people and humanity. And it has been a blessing. Not to say we're perfect, we know we're not perfect, but it has been a blessing not only to the people that have grown up here, but around the world as well. My concern is what he said, can we keep it? And we will not keep it if we continue to be complacent. We won't keep it if we say, well, President Trump's in office, we're good, we can sit back and rest. This fight isn't gonna subside, it's going to increase. And I wanna talk to the parents in the room and the grandparents in the room, because I see a couple kids in the room. My daughter Kennedy's in the room today. She's getting ready to start high school. And as a dad, I can tell you how grateful I feel to have grown up in this country that's provided me with so much opportunity and so much blessing. But our jobs is to make sure that doesn't fall on our watch and they get to enjoy what we got to enjoy. It has been an absolute honor to represent you guys in Washington, D.C. I'm running again. If you guys choose to send me back, you'll get more of what you've seen from me. I'm pretty even-keeled, pretty principled on what I believe, what I stand for. I realize I talked to a lady at the parade today that wasn't too happy with me, but that's okay. She has a right, to believe whatever she wants and to support whoever she wants. But what the next and last thing I want to talk to you about is the opportunity that we have right now in front of us. This guy, Andy Biggs, has been my mentor for 4 years. I chose this guy to be my mentor because I watch people. I watch what they do, not when the cameras are on. I watch really closely what they do when nobody's looking and the cameras are off and it's just a private conversation. I've seen this guy step up so many times for American citizens, for Arizonans. I've seen him put his political neck on the line in major ways that nobody else wanted to do. There was a fight we had in Washington probably about 4 years ago. I was just getting into Washington, D.C. I wasn't even a sworn-in member of Congress yet. And many people in this district had told me that they did not want Kevin McCarthy to be the Speaker of the House. Now, some people in here might disagree with that. I talk to people who disagree with our move all the time. But we needed somebody to run against Kevin McCarthy. And Kevin was backed by all the power players. I mean, all the power players. And so the Freedom Caucus, which me and Andy are both a part of, said we need somebody to step up and run against Kevin, knowing that whoever we put up to run against Kevin was not going to win and was going to take all sorts of slings and arrows from all over the country, donors from inside the state, all the power players in Washington, D.C. Guess who raised his hand and said, I'll do it? This guy. And I've gone to combat 3 different times. I've faced some pretty, dicey, circumstances. That was a pretty stressful week. It was a very stressful week because we had guys from in our own party. I mean, I remember me and Andy were getting called by the President of the United States. The former president at the time, he hadn't yet been reelected, and he was not happy with us for what we were doing. The great Charlie Kirk was not happy with us for what we were doing. Mark Levin, Don Jr., there were so many people, Sean Hannity, people, big, heavy hitters on our side were coming after us, but we were doing what the people in our state and our district sent us here to do under all of that pressure. And we got a bunch of victories out of that. And I remember coming back here, I didn't know how I would be received. I didn't know if you guys would be upset with me or not for doing that, but I can tell you when I came back here, I felt welcome. And I felt appreciated, and that's why I love this town, I love this place, but more importantly, I love this dude who was willing to step up for the American people. One thing I'll tell you is, for those of you guys that don't know Andy's background, is he was president of the state senate like Warren, but he's also the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, the most conservative group in Washington, D.C., and he's been in D.C. for about 10 years. And so he's got state experience, he's got federal experience, which is very important as your governor, because your governors are in Washington a lot discussing water issues and all sorts of issues, so it's important that they have that background and that understanding. And he's also one of the best guys I know, and so we have an amazing opportunity to have one of the best governors in the country if we're willing to put in the work, if we're willing to not be complacent, if we're willing to fight like we did, 2 years ago to get President Trump back in office. And that's on us. And that's why Mr. Franklin said, if you can keep it. He knew it would come down to us and what we wanted. Guys, this country's in a lot of trouble. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I know a lot of politicians like to do their rah-rah speeches, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and make all sorts of false promises. I've never made you guys a promise other than I was going to go fight for you guys, and I was going to listen to you guys. And I would put you guys above the power players, above the special interests, above the lobbying groups, and not focus on my own political career, because I really don't care, and I have no political ambition. This country's in a lot of trouble, but there are still a lot of Americans out there that love this country, are patriotic, want to see this experiment carry on for their kids and their grandkids. So it's up to us. It's up to us, and I think we can do it. I think we can do it if we do our part. I know Andy's doing his part, Warren's doing his part, Selena's doing her part, Sheriff Rhodes is doing his part. And again, I'm sorry to bring you guys down on such an amazing day. Don't worry, you'll get to get back to the rodeo, you'll get to get back to the fireworks. You got to suffer through the politics for a little over an hour, but it is important. It is important. And so thank you guys for allowing me to represent you guys. Thank you guys for turning out to support my good friend Andy Biggs. And God bless you.